Hello everyone, very warm welcome to all of you to the Legal Game, your one-stop solution for all your law entrance examination preparation. And a very warm welcome from Kushagra Goyal, your CLAT educator primarily for current affairs. Now, we are closing the month, and as yesterday in a live session I talked about the revision aspect. So we'll be carrying on with our revision, but at the same time we will be closing out the month today with the newspaper analysis of 30th November. We have covered quite a substantive area of issues over this month. We began the month with the Glasgow and the Conference of Parties, the Glasgow Summit. We ended the month of October with the G20 Summit. In between, there has been the China ASEAN Summit. There has been a reinstatement of the government in Sudan. The military coup has subsided. There has been an amendment by Kulbhushan Jadhav case in Pakistan. So there has a lot been happening since then. In this month also, on domestic side, we are officially into the winter session of the parliament. So a lot of government of India debates, policies will be talked about from the month of December onwards. They will be the one that will be taking up the primary headlines. So what all will we be covering this entire day or today primarily will be revision. So in the morning, this is the newspaper analysis. We'll be closing out the month. Then at 5 p.m. I am taking a monthly current affairs revision quiz, which will be questions based on the topics that have happened throughout this month. And then lastly, we will be doing the revision of things at 9 p.m. So make sure that you keep your time slots booked, you make arrangements in your calendar accordingly. Your organizers should have all these time class updates. So let's dive in. And the first doubt that I got yesterday was related to World Bank has discontinued its ease of doing business reports. So what was this ease of doing business reports? Why were they primarily shut down? So this has been a controversy, not something that came in the newspaper yesterday, but has been information in the public domain for quite some time. What has been this? So the ease of doing business rankings was something that, for example, our current Prime Minister had pointedly talked about. And the Niti Aayog, that is the Indian body, has even ingrained these rankings within their own system. What does it mean? That see, how much time period you take to, let's say, resolve a dispute, how much time does it take to actually get an environmental clearance, how much time does it take to do a environmental impact assessment, how much time does it take to get you permits for construction, for permission to set up a body, set up a restaurant, change the area from residential to commercial, all of those aspects, right? How do you do it? How all of it will change is what this idea is all about. Ease of doing business rankings. So World Bank had pioneered this. The World Bank, which is headquartered in Washington, they had started out these rankings. Each year, each country was ranked on the basis, and different countries, how attractive they are for investors. That was the idea. However, since 2016, World Bank did a audit of rankings from 2016 to 2019. They found a lot of favoritism and nepotism up to the position of the head of World Bank. They themselves have been involved in fudging the numbers. So what you see actually is not what is really happening on ground. Things are actually different. For example, a country's ranking, let's say India. India's ranking has been increasing from 77 to, let's say, 56. So what would it mean? That India has now become better as an investment option? But what was actually happening is that countries were being given favorable treatment without any evidence. So whosoever was paying bribes was getting favorable rankings vis-a-vis the others. So World Bank realized that they cannot completely identify the correctness of the rankings in instantly. So what they have done is they have shut down the ease of doing business reports altogether. उन्होंने बंद कर दिए. Okay, so therefore this is a area which used to get a lot of questions. Indexes and report, we always get questions, but now that something has been shut down, there is very little chance of a question coming in from it. Why is so? Because it's an area of investigation. It's something that may not be asked. What can we ask? Will we be asked to do investigation for them? No, right? That is why this is something that has been now cancelled. So this is all that we need to know. Why were they shut down? Because of nepotism, favoritism and data incorrectness. Economic data जो होता है, the key part of economic based things is it has to be based on stats and evidence. If that is wrong, the entire exercise gets vitiated. So this is the problem that came up with ease of doing business reports and rankings, which have now been shut. However, Niti Aayog does a India ease of doing business rankings. So Niti Aayog comes up with India rankings, which we will be talking about. Okay, Niti Aayog comes up with its own rankings, so we will be talking about them, the updated ones, so don't worry about that. Alright, so this is the key part that we will be focusing on. हमें World Bank की ranking से अब कोई लेना देना नहीं है. There is another ranking that we will rather study, which is the competitiveness rankings. Okay, or the world competitiveness report, which is also very similar to ease of doing business rankings. Okay, so we will move on from here and let's dive into the newspaper analysis. So yesterday I had told you we had discussed the entire structure of the process in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. I had pointed out that the bills will be introduced and then they will also be repealed. The vote for repeal will also be taken on the very same day. So Parliament cleared the farm laws without any discussion. No discussion was taken up. However, see, whenever you are in government, you get to speak in general, because the agricultural minister, that is Narendra Singh Tomar ji, he was the one introducing the bill for repeal, so he got the chance to actually talk about why the government was repealing something. In that, he stated that government was not unable to convince certain sections of the farmers. Overall, otherwise the response to the farm bills were good enough. So that has created a lot of protest by the opposition benches, that see, the fact that you are trying to portray something as yours which is untrue, there should be given a chance to the other side to at least make a statement of why the comments or the remarks of the government are misplaced. So in that regard, the three farm bills are now history. They need to be approved by the president for final assent. However, as of now, they had already ceased to be in motion because the Supreme Court had stayed them, and now it's only a mere formality for the president to notify the repeal. So what is now left? Notification of repeal. This is all that is now left. Okay, notification of repeal by whom? The president. Okay, so this is the key part. Then moving on is more updates about Omicron variant. So Omicron variant is the one that has shook the world right now. There has been a substantive amount of panic and worry that has gripped the world about the variant. That what is it about? WHO has claimed that see, it does pose high global risk. Why? Because of two reasons. One, is it more harmful to the human body than the Delta variant? No. But is it, there is a chance of it escaping vaccines protection? Yes. And also most of the world population is not yet vaccinated, which puts the others at risk also. Alright. So breakthrough infections का chance काफी ज़्यादा है with Omicron. And secondly, the other problem with this variant now is that it has a severe chance of more virality, that is higher risk of spreading from one place to another. Okay, so this is the reason why Omicron variant has posed a very high global risk as per WHO. Different states are coming up with more guidelines to, one, ensure that no case goes undetected. You need to have a negative RT-PCR report to enter the country. You have to isolate and quarantine yourself if you are positive. So therefore it is a key part of protection against the spread of the variant. The Delta variant was primarily responsible for the second wave of COVID-19 in India, which was so deadly. Therefore it is a key part to ensure that things do not go out of order once again. Finally, we are a little back on track. We don't want to go back to another wave of the COVID-19. Okay. Then we move on, clear the air on construction activities in Delhi. This is about pollution in Delhi, and the Central Vista project reconstruction work is going on. 26 January is just around the corner. You can see the pictures. This is at Vijay Chowk. The Republic Day parade has to go on at 26 this January. If the construction activity is paused, the parade will not be able to happen, right? And the conundrum is that every other construction activity is now being prohibited in NCR. So the question is a violation of Article 14 before the Supreme Court, that while you have banned every other construction activity in the capital, why has the Central Vista project being allowed to go ahead? What is the reason for them? Do they not cause pollution? Is that not a health hazard for the population of this city? Therefore, under Article 14, a PIL has been filed for why this is being allowed. So this needs to be seen. Okay. Then in regard to cryptocurrencies, the government yesterday, the finance minister gave two replies to questions. Does the government regulate the apps in India that are providing for crypto exchanges or purchase and sale of cryptocurrencies? So the government has claimed no. Cryptocurrencies in India are totally unregulated as of now. Does the government keep a data of how many people are investing in cryptocurrencies, how much money they are doing? Because, for example, when you invest money in stocks, the SEBI actually gives out bi-weekly information of how much money you have placed in different stocks and options. So that is one area, right? So that is regulated. Similarly, with banks, all your data is recorded with RBI. But cryptocurrencies are totally unregulated. Okay, so you can understand it by this. SEBI, Security Exchange Board of India, checks the stocks. It has the information. मान लीजिए someone defrauds you with stocks, you can go to SEBI. RBI with banks, right? Money that you have in banks, RBI will keep a check. But with crypto, the government has claimed no regulation, that there is absolutely no regulation of crypto. So मान लीजिए कि कल कोई crypto exchange disappear हो जाती है, या फिर tomorrow the price of these cryptocurrencies totally falls, और आपको पता चलता है कि यार ये cryptocurrency exchange was actually involved in funding terrorist activities. None of this is being regulated by the government. Okay. The second is the RBI itself has been raising concerns with cryptocurrency investment. See, usually all the money that we have in stocks, those are with companies, and they are working towards doing what? Ensuring that the work of and the investment is for the furtherance of Indian economy. Similarly, in banks lend it to individuals for their consumption. Cryptocurrency mein investment ka what is the purpose? If you ask yourself, I am investing in cryptocurrencies, what is the purpose of it? Where is that money going? Right? Who, let's say I invested 1 lakh rupee in purchasing 1/10 of a Bitcoin. What has happened to that 1 lakh rupees? Where has it gone? Who is keeping it secured? Where is it going? What if that person disappears tomorrow? All those questions are the problem. The larger concern is ki what is happening with that investment. Till now, it is believed that almost 1.5 crore Indians have invested in some way or the other in cryptocurrencies. So, if so many people have invested so much of their money at certain points of time, what is happening with the money? So RBI is not only concerned with the cryptocurrency apparatus, but is also concerned with the money flow of it. So now, probably in this session of the parliament, government is going to come up with a bill to ban all these private cryptocurrencies. So that is something that needs to be seen. Okay, so we will keep an eye on that. We have already understood and explained cryptocurrencies as multiple point of time. Okay, then we move on national news. Nothing of note for us, right? So we come directly to the editorial section. On the left hand side is regulation, not ban. This is the take of the Hindu on what should be done with cryptocurrencies. That please regulate them, don't ban them. Why don't you ban them? Because there are different countries who are actually willingly adopting and embracing digital currencies. The fact that they are doing it, it is a way to create jobs. So if you ban it, then those kind of jobs and technology will miss out on India, right? Technological adoption will not happen. So this is the first argument. The second one is that individuals are now willing to take more risk with their finances. They want to move beyond traditional means of investment. So they see cryptocurrency as that mechanism, and government should actually tap into this potential. That if people are willingly putting their money, make the system safe enough. Don't run away from it. And thirdly, that creation of a digital apparatus within India, a robust one, will actually lead to investment from outside into Indian cryptocurrency market or digital currency market. So therefore, there is a chance that government should not ban it and continue to regulate it. Have a similar mechanism like SEBI to do it in this manner. So all of it is part of speculation. We need to wait what the government does. See, all this happens in India where we are speculating कि bill में क्या होगा, because we do not do any pre-legislative consultation. नो प्री लेजिस्लेटिव कंसल्टेशन. पब्लिक को, एक्सपर्ट्स को, इंडस्ट्री इंटरेस्ट एंथुजियास्ट को, किसी को कुछ पता नहीं होता है कि हमारे यहाँ क्या लॉ आने वाला है. ऑलराइट, सो दिस प्री लेजिस्लेटिव कंसल्टेशन इज ऑल्सो एब्सेंट. is absent in 17 out of 27 bills for the winter session. So इस winter session में भारत सरकार का प्लान है 27 बिल लेके आना. उन 27 में से 17 के बारे में पब्लिक को कुछ पता नहीं है. इनमें से 3 तो फार्म बिल्स थे, प्लस एक जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी का डेटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल है. सो 4 के ऊपर तो ऑलरेडी लार्ज स्केल कंसल्टेशन हो चुका था, बट उसके अलावा देयर हैज ओनली बीन 6 अदर बिल्स जिनके बारे में पब्लिक को पता है. 2 ऑफ देम आर एक्चुअली अमेंडमेंट ऑफ जजेस एंड देयर सैलरीज. तो उन बिल्स के ऊपर कंसल्टेशन का कोई ज्यादा डिमांड की रिक्वायरमेंट ही नहीं होती है. सो इट इज फॉर द कंसल्टेशन दैट इज एब्सेंट इन आवर गवर्नेंस. ऑलराइट, so then in that regard we move on to the main editorial. 3 farm laws were never a solution. Sudha Narayanan is writing that the 3 farm laws, they had specific purposes as stated by the government. The first claim was that APMC mandis or agricultural market areas where right now government procures produce from farmers, farmers were not allowed to sell their produce anywhere else. However, this is far from truth. भारत सरकार ने फार्म बिल्स पास करते वक्त ये बोला था कि ये जो सरकारी मंडियों के अलावा है वहां के उसके बाहर कोई अपना सामान नहीं बेच पाता है। ऐसा सही नहीं है। फार्मर्स के पास हमेशा से चॉइस थी, या तो वो सरकारी मंडी में बेचें या वो प्राइवेट पार्टी को बेच सके। ये हमेशा से अलाउड था। एक किसान सरकारी मंडी में इसलिए बेचते थे और ओनली 6% ऑफ द फार्मर्स सेल इट देयर। व्हाई डू दे डू इट? Because there is a certain amount of trust associated with the sarkari mandi. Because so many people do it, there is already a regulation there. You know the people who are purchasing the produce, you know that these are reliable individuals. At private mandis or at a private party, there is always a risk of getting defrauded. So farmers used to prefer that. The second bill was Amendment of Essential Commodities Act, that is to remove limits on warehousing of produce. Okay, so in that regard, the author writes that, see, this was in the area of center-state agri relationship. All of this. One, if the central government claims that they are the best suited party to actually take over this aspect, then they had to give valid reasons. However, as pointed out from this line, the underlying premise of these acts was that freedom to operate in agricultural markets would attract capital-rich private players to sector in sore need of rejuvenating investments. Okay. However, this is where the government was unable to actually give out any concrete reason. The concern of the farmers was that why will someone invest in a sector without owning it? And the struggle for independence. The farmers had joined the independence struggle because for the longest time under the British, what was happening? Benefit and profit of farming was going to the British and not the farmers. Okay, right now these bills would have done the same. If a company, or for example you are investing in a business, okay, you would want the maximum profit to come to you. However, you are not the one who is actually working on the fields to will, for example, Adani Corporation, right? Gautam Adani is the head of the corporation. He is investing his money in agriculture. Will he be working on the fields for 6 months to create the crop? No. Will the executives of Reliance or Tata's, they will do it? No. However, in this regard, the acceptance would have been that farmers will now become just mere laborers on the land. So this was why the author claims that the farm laws were never the solution. Our Home Minister, who is also the cooperative minister, a couple of days ago had talked about how large-scale employment is only possible through cooperative sector without anyone gaining large-scale ownership, which is what the solution that could have been done with the farm bills. That instead of creating these large private companies to be allowed, there should have been a cooperative movement for agricultural farming. Let's say a company wants to provide you with apples during the summer months. They may have a cooperative agreement with apple growing farmers, right? Instead of converting them. So the profits will now be shared half and half. All right. So this is the idea that the author is making, that the farm bills were never the real solution towards the problem. The other aspect of it is twofold. One is center-state relationship. So APMC mandis के ऊपर एक state tax लगता है, that would not have been levied on central government mandis. Those central government mandis would have been regulated totally by the central government within the state bodies or state borders. So state governments will lose one, policing area, two, regulation, and the central government is too far away for a farmer to actually go for their concerns. If there had been a problem in any issue that the central mandis would have been created, would have had, then where will the farmer go, right? Central government the government is too far away. How many of us can actually meet the prime minister on a daily basis, right? Or the agricultural minister? The farmers were unable to meet the prime minister for 1 year. For 1 year, the prime minister did not meet any farmer, which is the logic that is being made out, that if the central government is the one coordinating with farming on a daily basis, it had to be more available. The fact that the government is not available to even address the concerns shows that, see, there is something fishy about it. Okay, so this is what the article is all about. Then on the left hand side, mixed colors. This is about the new chancellor in Germany. Who is the new chancellor? The new chancellor of Germany after 16 years of rule of Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel for the past 16 years has been the chancellor of Germany. She is the most towering leader of the entire of Europe. She was the one who took out Europe from different crises at different points of time. And she was heading the largest economy of Europe also, which is Germany. So now comes Olaf Scholz. Olaf Scholz is going to head a coalition government of 3 very different parties. So he will now take over as the new chancellor of Germany. Germany has a very complex system of elections. Okay, we will do a separate video about it, so don't worry about that. Right now, this is a coalition government. Just like in every coalition government everywhere, there is a minimum government program. That is, the government will deal with certain minimum ideas. Okay, a common minimum government program or a minimum government program that the coalition has agreed to certain aspects. What are the primary ones? They have agreed to increase minimum wages to 12 euros per hour. Okay, first agreement. Then what the next thing is, 80% of electricity will come from renewable sources by 2030. All right, India's target is to achieve 50% by 2030. Germany's target is 80%. This is also to illustrate that, see, these Western countries, historically, the ones who have committed far more carbon emissions, do possess the technology to take a leap away from carbon to actually clean energy. The fact that Germany is targeting 80%, it knows that it has the resources and the technology to take it such a high level, which shows the claim of India and other developing countries at conference of parties that you have the money, you have historically benefited from it, you have a responsibility to pay us. The next other thing that they have agreed is not to raise taxes in Germany, that the rich will not be taxed higher than they have been right now. Okay, so no increase in taxes. So these are the 3 common minimum agreements that they have made. Okay, 3 of them. Uske alawa, we have the overall area regarding who is going to head it. So Olaf Scholz, the new chancellor of Germany. Now, Merkel was the one who would, as long as she would have ran the country or she would have run for the chancellor, she would have won the election. But that is not true. So tenure of the government may or may not get completed. All right, coalition governments always have a risk. So this could happen here also. All right. Then on the right hand side, a launch window for India as a space startup hub. So India right now only has 2% of market share in the total space technology or space sector. Out of 440 billion US dollars का जो total space technology sector है, India only has 2% share in it. Okay, and the new driving force of space innovation is private companies, startups. More and more private companies such as Blue Origins, SpaceX, all right, they are the ones who are the shining light of space technology. Not no more are Roscosmos or the Chinese Space Agency or the earlier ones, that is NASA and European Space Agency. It is now the private companies that are leading it. Therefore, this article is talking about how Indian government can actually create or allow for growth of Indian startups. Now, during the Atmanirbhar Bharat package, Bharat Sarkar allowed for creation of InSpace. InSpace का मतलब a new body, okay, which will be a single window nodal for all commercial activities. Okay, so the name of the organization is important and what it will be doing. So the name is InSpace, Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. For example, आपको 10 satellite launch करवाने for your private company. You can go to InSpace. InSpace will connect you with, let's say, ISRO to create or do a booking for you on PSLV rocket, which is launching 3 months later. Or for example, you have already created satellites, all right, for different companies. You just want to launch them. So again, you will go to InSpace. Now let's say you have come up with a new rocket. You want to test out your new rocket from the launch site of ISRO. Okay, then again you will go to InSpace, tell them that, see sir, I have created this rocket, we have all the permission, we need all the permission to test the rocket, so allow us to do that. So ISRO will get rent, facility, approval and money. All right, the fact that if there is a single body from where all the permissions can be sought, if I have the brains to actually create a new kind of satellite technology which can be used for education of children in remote areas. Now, if I want to do that, I will need funding. Now, why will a private investor invest in India if there is no space for me to actually recoup my investment, right? So this is what the idea is of licensing and liability that is talked about here, that ISRO can bring in a new kind of space ecosystem to promote private agencies. The Prime Minister has also talked about it. There has been recently big private companies have created an association of Indian Space Association, ISA, where the CEO of Airtel and Reliance, all of them, they were there and they talked about how space is the new frontier for Indian companies to invest in. Okay, so this is the idea for us. InSpace is the only thing to be remembered. Okay, then we move on. The many challenges before the trade unions. What is this about? So Bharat Sarkar in 2019 also came up with reforms of the labor laws in India. You will study about these labor laws in your law schools. Labor law as a subject will be there. Okay? But usse related there have been protests also, that these labor codes reduce the hard-earned labor values, and the fact that Bharat Sarkar has come back on farm reforms, there could be a chance that it will repeal the labor codes also. But trade unions are not that united. Plus, they have their different issues with farm law. The labor codes, unlike in the farm laws where all the farmers were unanimous on their demand for repeal or nothing, right? Here there are a lot more nuanced discussion allowed. Plus, farmers, not everybody can replace a farmer, but because there is high unemployment in the country, a worker's space can be taken away by someone else. Let's say I am unemployed. If workers are on strike for, let's say, 10 days, the employer will say ki I will hire new workers, and because India has such high unemployment, the workers will stand to lose. So this is the risk that is being talked about in this article, the many challenges before trade unions. Okay, then on the right hand side is boosting green hydrogen. Hydrogen technology, different carbon or combustible engine companies have talked about hydrogen as the area. Mukesh Ambani and his Reliance Corporation has also declared that by 2030, Reliance, which is till now the refinery and for oil and crude oil and petroleum products, will move towards hydrogen. Why will hydrogen be? Because hydrogen is another clean energy fuel which gives out byproducts that can also be used. BMW is moving towards hydrogen technology for its cars. They are, instead of going on towards purely electric, they are exploring hydrogen as a fuel. A lot of other countries are also doing it. This article is about green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is one, we use renewable energy to separate H2O, which is water, into hydrogen and oxygen atom. So we will get two hydrogen atom and one oxygen atom, right? This process of separation, when this is done through renewable energy, all right, solar energy, wind energy, say you run the machines that actually separate this water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen, then it is known as green hydrogen. When you use non-renewable energy, then it is known as gray hydrogen. Okay, so this is the first, it talks about what is this, then it talks about how is it going to solve our problems. So hydrogen energy can also be used for large scale infrastructure sectors such as cement, steel, refineries, and can be a replacement of crude oil and coal. And the earth has abundant of water available with it, right? So therefore there is a chance of using this as the way of energy for the future. All right, then we move on the left hand side, mismanaging the monsoon. This is about in general in Chennai and Tamil Nadu, how urban infrastructure needs to be corrected. Then the data point is about South India suffering from more lifestyle diseases, diabetes, hypertension, other lifestyle related obesity, and those kinds of events. All right, that South India has much higher percentage of it than the North. Uske baad then, this is a petition that the Supreme Court will hear regarding convicts of Rajiv Gandhi's assassination case. Our former Prime Minister during electoral campaign was killed or murdered or assassinated through a human bomb, and the organization responsible for it was LTTE. Okay, now it was a larger conspiracy. In that regard, 7 of those people have been in jail since the case began in 1990s. By then, these individuals were earlier given death penalty, death by hanging, but they claimed mercy before the governor and the president. Their petition for mercy took almost a decade to be decided. So Supreme Court decided to actually rescind the death penalty and give them life imprisonment. The moment you are eligible for life imprisonment, you can then also seek for early remission of your punishment. What does remission mean? Remission means, so एक तो होता है mercy, ठीक है, and pardon, and then we have remission. Okay, remission is reduced. So death penalty could be reduced to 30 years of imprisonment, 50 years. All right. Pardon is you completely pardon. The fact that their mercy petition got accepted, which made them life imprisonment, they were now eligible for remission before the governor under what? Article 161. Article 161 could be used for remission. Okay, that now they are eligible to walk free. So Supreme Court is now on December 7 going to hear the petition about should these people be allowed to be granted remission. So that needs to be seen on December 7 now. Okay, then we move on. Owners of contraception still on women, NFHS figures. This is something I discussed yesterday in the monthly revision video, so please check it out. This is about how in India, family planning measures, which are contraceptive measures, most of them are female sterilization. The use of condom, pill, or male sterilization is minimalistic in India. All right, which means the burden of family planning is actually more on women. All right, Then moving on, apart from it, more on politics, nothing of real note for us. Omicron risks spark call for booster dose. Booster dose क्या है? First dose, second dose is the demand for Covishield or Covaxin, the primary vaccines in India. A booster dose is an additional immunity dose. In different countries such as Israel, booster dose is being given 6 months after the second dose. After the second dose. This is the key for booster dose as of right now. India till now has not provided booster dose. Why? Because that will divert vaccines away from those who have not even received 1 or 2 doses. India has 87% people who have received 1 dose, 42% people who have received both the doses. All right. So there is still 60% of the population that needs to take their second dose, and 13% population of India, which is a significant number. All right, 10% of India's population is 11 crore, right? So therefore, if 13%, almost 15 crore people still need to get 1 more dose. If we divert the vaccines available to booster dose, it will not ensure universal immunization. Okay, this is what the concern is of the expert community against it. Okay, उसके बाद then we move on to the international news. In international news, there is one big headline, which is Twitter has an Indian origin CEO. Now, among the top 12 tech companies, 6 of these large companies are being run by Indian origin individuals. Parag Agarwal, IIT Bombay alumni, has been appointed as the CEO of Twitter Corporation. Jack Dorsey, who was the founder of the app, has resigned from the position, and Parag Agarwal, IIT Bombay and Stanford University graduate, so born in India, moved to United States for his further education and has since then settled there. All right, a prime example of brain drain in India also, and how only in USA, which is known as the American dream, is it possible that a person not born in India, not born in that country, can actually head one of the largest companies of that country, right? It is like a Bangladeshi or a South African running the Tata Corporation or Reliance Corporation or Reliance Industries. Almost impossible to imagine such a story in India. Usually तो Indian companies में out of family CEO appointment ही नहीं होते, right? So therefore Parag Agarwal, a Indian origin, no more an Indian citizen, has become the CEO of Twitter. So that is a good news. Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, Adobe, different IBM, 4 other big companies now have Indian origin CEOs. All right. Then moving on, Iran determined to salvage nuclear deal as talks resume. What is this nuclear deal that they are trying to resume? This is the nuclear deal known as the JCPOA. Under this scheme, Iran will only be allowed to use nuclear energy for civil purposes. And in return, the P5 plus EU will have trade with Iran. Right now, this is suspended because US unilaterally withdrew from JCPOA because it felt that Iran was not complying with its nuclear requirements under JCPOA. It was enriching uranium to the level of weapon grade. So now Ibrahim Raisi, the new president of Iran, all right, and the former chief justice of the country, he got elected in this summertime as the president. New elections happened in Iran. Now probably the idea is to salvage these talks to resume. Iran has then been suffering. India has also not been able to purchase oil from Iran because of the sanctions. US imposed sanctions on Iran to ensure a better deal out of JCPOA. So now we need to wait what will happen. Okay, whether these talks will resume or not. Matlab, whether these talks are successful or not. Okay. Then on the left hand side, Sri Lankan troops break up Tamil memorial to war dead. In the sense, this is the Heroes Day. For the longest time, Sri Lanka had a civil war, LTTE versus the Sri Lankan government. LTTE then lost the civil war, they were broken down. However, those people were recognized as heroes in terms of their contribution to the cause for just representation of the Tamilians in Sri Lanka. Now, since 2019, a hardline government has come, the Rajpakshas. Their government has singularly decided to not recognize the contribution of and the rights of the minorities in Sri Lanka. Tamils, Muslims, or any other minorities in Sri Lanka are now getting squeezed out of the country. So in that regard, another step has been taken. Last year, the Jaffna Memorial, which was in the Jaffna University, that was shifted out. Now they have broken down the memorial of the Heroes Day, okay, and have banned celebration of it also. So this is all part of squeezing the minorities in Sri Lanka, okay. उसके अलावा apart from this, nothing of note for us, right? Moving on, Omicron fogs global economic outlook. So Omicron variant is impacting the overall scenario of the country, of the world economy, of what lies ahead. More and more countries are reintroducing travel bans, prohibition, booster shot, quarantine measures, lockdown measures. So all of this is now moving ahead towards more and more foggy days ahead. That what will happen? Will there be a third wave? What will it lead to? More hospitalization? Will we lose more workforce? All of it is now in the realm of unknown unknowns. Okay. Then on the sporting side, nothing of note as of now. Nothing decisive in the World Test Championship also. They have played 3 draws till now. So we move on to the text and context. The first text and context is about the caste census. Right now, every decade, we have a decadal census, but we do not tell our caste in the census data. In 2011, a caste data was also collected separately from the census data. However, the government of India in 2016 told the parliament that, see, we have the data, but it is unusable. We cannot make it public. They claimed that 98.6% data was all right. This was worth using in 2016. But yet, they have not made it public. Till now in India, we use the caste data from 1931. The Mandal Commission, all the reservation that we have of how much are the OBCs, SCs, STs, within OBCs, what is the scenario of different castes within OBC. Every year there is a problem of who should be part of the creamy layer, who should not be part of the creamy layer. Which community should be identified, should religious minorities be given reservation, what is their economic status, none of it is actually known. Because we don't have the data, right? The argument from government of India when P. Chidambaram in NDA and right now Amit Shah as the Home Minister, both of them have stated that, see, अगर भारत सरकार कास्ट सेंसस करेगी तो इसका ये मतलब है कि हम कास्ट सिस्टम को प्रमोट कर रहे हैं. But the argument from the other side is कि government of India does the data collection of dowry deaths, it collects the data of farm suicides, it collects the data for poverty. Does it mean that government of India supports poverty? Does it mean government of India supports dowry death? No. What it means is that to make policies for the betterment of the population, you need to know data. आपको पता होना चाहिए कि वो क्या है. But हमारे पास caste is important for politics, for election. But policy के लिए कितना डेटा चाहिए, किस कम्युनिटी को कितना रिप्रेजेंटेशन एक्चुअली मिलना चाहिए, उसका कोई डेटा नहीं. सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज गोइंग टू हियर पिटीशन ऑफ शुड रिजर्वेशन ब्रीच 50%. क्या 50% से ऊपर जाना चाहिए रिजर्वेशन या नहीं, क्या 50% के विद इन रिजर्वेशन क्रिएट हो सकता है 5% या 10% का टू एनी वन कम्युनिटी। तो इन सवालों के जवाब कहां से मिलेंगे, डेटा से। अगर कोई कम्युनिटी है जो 50% रिजर्व कम्युनिटी का 10% है तो उनको वो बेनिफिट मिलना चाहिए आइडियली। इफ दे आर वेरी पुअर, इफ दे आर socially very backward, then they should be recognized. But how will we come to know without the caste census? All right, so this is the idea that is being proposed, but the central government has claimed that now is too late. The census data is already ready. कोविड की वजह से we have delayed it. अब caste census करने के लिए और delay हो जाएगा. So we cannot do it with 2021. We can do it in 2031. ये प्रॉब्लम 2026 में वापस से अराइज होगी। 2026 में वी आर probably going to have delimitation, increase the number of member of parliament. उसमें भी we have reservation for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. So अब how much should that reservation be? Should we continue with 16 and 8%? To confirm it, we need data, but that is not available. All right, primarily of the other backward castes, this data is not available. So this is the caste census. Uski ye argument hai. Then WhatsApp to increase its share in digital payments platform. Most of us know UPI, United Payment Interface, all right, which is monitored by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. UPI transaction karte hum phone pay और GPay. They have become the predominant platform for online in UPI payments, right? 85% of the market share is with these two companies. So NPCI has been trying to actually change this scenario, that these are two private companies and we can't leave the entire payment structure dependent on two apps. We need to democratize the space of payment. So this is the idea with which WhatsApp, which is another private company, has been allowed. Okay, will they be successful, will they not be, that is what needs to be seen. Okay, uske baad then is another policy document. Should we allow a national court of appeal? What should be the idea of court of appeal? Should Supreme Court ke niche, we discussed the other day also, should there be 4 National Court of Appeal and Supreme Court only hearing constitutional matters? And then, or should we have more judges at lower and high court levels to actually reduce the pendency of cases? So this is the policy document in discussion of that. Nothing of note per se, broad discussions ही है इसके अंदर. Okay, so we will move on. All right. And as I move on, I want to tell you the notes related to this class and all the lectures that I conduct are available on the link bit.ly/KUSSGK notes. The link to it is in the description box, and all the information regarding classes is available at the Telegram link or the channel name as Kushagra Goyal the Legal Game _Unacat. Okay. What do we have to note down from today? So farm bills ka revision. Okay, key part. Then cryptocurrency, all right, and new German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, right? So that is 3 main things to be noted down for today. Okay, uske baad lastly I want to remind all of you that special classes jiska link is in the description box, where I have discussed cryptocurrencies and farm bills as a topic, is totally free of cost. You can avail these classes by using my code KUSHGK, all caps ke andar KUSHGK as the code to access these class for free. And if you're looking for a paid subscription, that is batches to study for, now that exam is 6 months away, you can use that through Unacademy's learner app. We have dedicated batches for students and you can use my code KUSSGK for an additional 10% discount. Lastly, if you're looking for tests to prepare yourself, you can participate in weekly T20 tests on a daily basis, or the Unacademy Law Aptitude Test, which is a half CLAT test. The batch for CLAT 2023 aspirants is NLU Stalwarts, which begins on 3rd December, and Ignite for CLAT 2022 aspirants, which is a 6-month batch. On that note, thank you so much, all of you. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Any doubts regarding the sessions, please put it in the comment box. I will answer them tomorrow. Make sure if you are new on the channel, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss the updates from tomorrow. Thank you all. See you all tomorrow.